thank you everyone for joining us for the Fall 2020 Nine Health Publicity webinar. And this will be the first of two. So we'll definitely go through a lot of important information, and we'll look forward to seeing everyone again on September 15th. If you don't know me, my name is Kristen Reichert. I work on the volunteer engagement team. I'm the volunteer engagement and communications specialist. So I send you lots of emails, and I write them, and I do a lot of design stuff. So I'm happy to be joining everybody. And my co-moderator is Vince. He is a Nine Health Publicity intern. Vince, do you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Yeah, hi, my name is Vince. Kristen really covered it. I'm a senior here at CU Boulder, and I've been working with Nine Health since the beginning of the year in January. Unfortunately, things were cut short due to the COVID situation in the spring, but I'm back here in the fall and definitely ready to answer your guys' questions and help out in any way I can. So,
perfect. So we'll go ahead and get started. Perfect. Now it's full screen. Let's see. So Vince, you can go ahead and start talking about the checklist. And just so everyone knows, if you're not familiar, I know we have some new folks on and some other folks who are seasoned at doing publicity work for their local Nine Health fairs. So some of this will be repeated, but so there will be a lot of new information as well, since we've never held a fair like this. But all of the information that we're talking about, you can find a lot of it in the volunteer management system under the resource library. So all of this is in there for you as well.
Definitely, yeah. And, for those of you that are familiar with our publicity checklist, some of this will be review for you guys, but it's a great resource to look over again if you guys haven't touched up on it in a while. And due to our situation with COVID-19 here in the fall, we've looked over things with that checklist again, and these are some of our key things that we would think are going to be very important going forward for the marketing of your fair. And the first thing is definitely going to be determining your key communities. We want to be able to pinpoint all different aspects of our communities because, different people have different concerns in these times, and we want to make sure that we're not only being inclusive to different parties and ideas, but also that we're making our reach as far as possible. And with that, we also need to be sensitive as well. As you can see here on the key communities checklist, one of them is senior citizen homes. And, with places like that, we just want to be sensitive to all the COVID restrictions that are going on. So that may not be a place that you would obviously want to visit in person. But again, for all these areas in your key community, you're probably going to want to reach out, at least to start online, and try to get in contact with some of these people that work at these different businesses. And on top of that, still word of mouth as well, that will definitely still be helpful. However, things like Facebook and community calendars and all that kind of stuff is going to be more important in these times, as for many of us, Facebook and these other social media platforms have become our main form of essentially word to mouth communication at this point, just with, the lack of events and stuff like that. But again, like it says there on the screen, the majority of Nine Health Fair attendees go to a fair within 5 miles of their home. So you really want to be pinpointing those businesses and those community members around where your fair actually is. And we'll touch on that a little bit further moving forward. But again, review this checklist, and these are going to be the main points here that we're going to want to go over.
Absolutely, and I do want to draw everyone's attention. I tried to star them as well so everyone can see the deadlines for when we should be doing this. So the fall fair dates are coming up. So these are things that we really should be thinking about now and planning now, even if we're not executing them at the moment. At least putting forth those plans as well will be helpful.
Absolutely, and moving on to newsletters, obviously in your local community, it's going to be important to find exactly where these are, and me and potentially Christian and others as well can be a resource to try to help you guys find these newsletters in your local community. But again, 6 to 8 weeks before your fair, you're going to want to see, churches, schools, all those types of businesses as well. Potentially, you could even outreach farther than that. And neighborhood organizations, you're going to want to figure out where those newsletters are and try to get something submitted out to them. With some of these, you're definitely going to have to write something up. And I believe Chase, another intern who I have not had the pleasure to meet yet, but he is here on the call with us. I've heard that he is a pretty good writer, and he may be somebody you could be interested in contacting as far as a little bit more information on newsletters. That may be more of his area of expertise as far as writing those. He may know some that are around. He may not as well, but he's definitely going to be a really good resource for us moving forward with that.
Definitely. And are there any questions so far? We can definitely wait till the end for questions, or you all can feel free to kind of jump in, unmute yourselves, and ask any questions you like. So we're going to try to keep a good pace, but also some spaces for you all to ask questions. So don't be shy. So press releases and human interest stories, these are definitely really useful, and press releases specifically are just very helpful for news organizations to really understand, a short paragraph as to why is this important, why does it matter to their readers, and then kind of going a little bit more into the fair itself. As well as human interest stories, you could even wrap that in together. If you want to spotlight a volunteer, or if you know a participant who feels comfortable kind of sharing their story about anything that they found helpful at the 9 Health Fair. Anything like that puts a human face on what we're talking about automatically draws more people, because it gives the opportunity for them to identify a little bit more with what we're talking about. So I do find these helpful. And again, we're definitely here to help. There are resources in the resource library of the coordinator dashboard. However, the press release in there is from the spring. So obviously it would be a little out of touch with the fall, just with everything going on, but we're definitely happy to help tweak things and help edit and help you get started as well. So if you haven't done any of this before, we're definitely, don't let that shy away from it. So we're definitely here to help you. And this can be, for instance, putting into just local, I know there's a lot of local weekly newspapers. For instance, in Park County, there's the Flume. So that would be a good potential resource to kind of reach out, can reach potentially more people and more of your target audience than sometimes social media might, or things like that. So it's good to keep on the radar. And then as well, so the first two on the left here, I have created, and they are in the resource library for you to use as well. The far right one over here is specifically for the town of Alma, and that was at the request to be edited and customized. So I'm perfectly happy to edit anything that's site specific for you all, whether it's the participant one or this volunteer one in the middle. I'm happy to customize this to suit your specific needs and whatever specific information you want on this flyer for your community. But you will notice a lot of the same things are there, really making sure they're aware of the safety requirements, whether it's a participant one, we're making sure I said it, twice if they're scheduling an appointment and then need to come at their appointment. So making sure that these key messages are in there and that folks understand that while it is the same health fair, we do have these extra little things that they do need to be aware of. As well as you notice, all of it is pushing for online registration as well. So I do want to just make sure that everyone is on the same page about that, and making sure that folks are, and we're helping people register online as much as possible to really diminish that on-site registration. So like these are available in the resource library, and just reach out to me and I'll have my, you all received an email from me this morning, so you probably have the slides. So you can just email me, reach out to me, and I'm perfectly happy to customize any flyers for you all as well.
Yeah, so moving on to some of the more online marketing aspects here. So there's been a lot of confusion so far amongst the Denver community about what we're actually doing with the fairs this fall. There's been a lot of comments suggesting, are these just COVID testing sites? What's really going on here? And it's going to be important to make it clear that this is still a 9 Health fair and that this is still the real deal. It's not just a COVID testing site. So getting that out there again through things like the 9 Health flyers and pictures from even past fairs would be another great thing to emphasize. That this is something that is still going on, and that it's not just not just a COVID testing site, as well as we think that by mentioning the antibody testing, we might be able to get a little bit of a different outreach. We might get some more people interested because of that antibody testing. We think we could really incorporate a wider audience by making that something that is not only marketed but also discussed with the 9 health fairs. And we do want to be careful as well when we're posting things from past events. And Kristen will probably have a little bit more to say on this, but we've had some thought that there could be some concern from people if we post something from a past event. And, people, of course, in years past, they're not going to be wearing masks or social distancing like they would. And we just don't want there to be any confusion there about the health and safety that we're going to be emphasizing at these events. So Kristen might have a little bit more to say about that here in a minute. But again, with Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, there's different things that we want to target on each one of these social media sites. And this would be a great thing to potentially take a picture of or look back on as well. But for most of us, Facebook is going to be that main marketing focal point. And again, if your fair has done anything with local business, or you want to interact with local business in a positive way on Facebook, that could be a really great way to get things out to the community and getting people to share these things on Facebook. We do also recommend posting the flyers as well as what is offered at the fair, not just the information on where to sign up, but what is going to be offered at those fairs, because there's, again, some confusion on what is exactly going on here, and we want to make sure that we can reduce that as much as possible. And Kristen might have more to say about this one.
Yeah, I would just say, just piggyback off of that, we have heard some comments from a different medical coordinator that they had heard that. So just making sure we are super clear in everything, and only posting pictures as necessary, and maybe even taking new pictures, getting your team together with masks, something like that, with your 9 health fair shirts on if you're a team that still has those from previous years. I think that's a great way to still put those pictures out, but also incorporate some of those new safety requirements as well, just for that overall image, so people just feel a little bit more safe coming to the fairs as well.
Absolutely. And when people are signing up, they do have an option to actually share that sign up on social media. And we really want you to encourage that for everyone that's volunteering at the fairs to, get more outreach as well. One sec, looks like we have a question here. Can you confirm the services available? People can get so disappointed. Kristen, do you want to touch on that at all?
Yeah, so the services that will be available, so all of these are going to be, we really took out a lot of the protocols and a lot of the positions specifically to decrease the amount of touch points at a fair. So all that will be offered at these fairs are the blood work screening, so those preventative screenings that require the phlebotomist, as well as antibody testing will be available there as well. Some sites are wanting to do also ask a medical question, get a referral. So some sites will have a table there, and all of this really is like the size of how many stations you can have with phlebotomists, and how many, if you can have the Ask a Medical, or one site I believe is looking to have the stress management screening. It all depends on how much room you have in your site, and I'm sure that you've been having those kind of conversations with Alex and Edith. So I'm sure you guys kind of know what you're doing, but just making sure that we're just saying like the baseline preventative screenings, because a lot of those free screenings won't be available this year, but we will have flyers and things like that in an information bag that folks can take with them. So hopefully they can still get those other kind of lenses with the other tables and medical volunteers that would usually be at a regular 9 health fair. Thank you for your question. And I'm now watching the chat, so feel free to put any questions in there as well.
All right, so with hashtags, this won't be as important on Facebook, but if you guys do decide to post on Instagram, I know this is something that, at least in the spring, we had a lot of site leaders that really wanted to get things going on Instagram and make this more of a platform for their fair. And a very important thing to discuss here with that is going to be hashtags. I want to direct your main attention to the post on the left with the sunflower there. Now, these are both examples of, just good examples of what you might be wanting to post to your site on Instagram. But as far as hashtags, one thing that is really strong with this post on the left is the emphasis on the local Colorado community. You've got hashtags in here, hashtag Colorado wildfires, hashtag Johnstown, Colorado, Colorado capture, etc., with all of these different captions, and creating hashtags that your local community are not only going to recognize, but are using as well, is going to be really important to getting the message out there to those that can actually attend your fair. Because that's going to definitely be our goal going forward when we're using this platform. And looking through the trending hashtags in the Colorado community is going to be another great place to start. If you're thinking about, a hashtag you'd like to use or a comment you'd like to make on one of your specific Instagram posts, you can go ahead and search that actually on Instagram and see if people are actively engaging with that hashtag and using that hashtag frequently. And the ones that people are using more are, of course, going to be the ones that you're going to want to use as well. And tagging your community itself. For example, like they did, hashtag Johnstown, Colorado, hashtag Westminster, Colorado. A lot of the local communities here do have actual hashtags. And I was pretty surprised to notice how much people are engaging with them and posting with them, hashtagging all their posts with their local area. I was actually very surprised to see how many people are actually using that. But it's going to be good because that way the people that are seeing that hashtag may potentially actually have the ability to go to your fair. And it's going to be really good, especially with our limited capacity numbers that we have, that we're pinpointing people, again, within that 5-mile radius to your fair. They're actually going to be looking through these different things. And ensuring that your picture goes along with the hashtag is great as well. You want to be very, very focused here. Sometimes people will get the wrong idea that, a million hashtags is better than some focalized ones. But with the fact that we're not, marketing to the whole world like another company potentially would, we're really, again, targeting that local area. So we want to ensure that our picture goes along with those hashtags and it's going to catch the eye of those that are looking in your local community. And then again, searching hashtags before you post it to see if other people are using it. This is going to be a really just kind of basic place to start with the whole hashtag idea. But again, if you guys have more questions about this or want to, kind of discuss this more in depth, or even have me look over one of your posts to see what type of hashtags, maybe I could give you some suggestions as well. I would be more than happy to do that in more depth with you one-on-one.
Yeah, and if anyone doesn't know what a hashtag is or its purpose, it's really more that it's searchable and that people are using it, and you can see a whole thread of it. So I put together a couple of Facebook post examples that are specific to this fall 2020. And you'll notice at the top here, I said Find a Fair opens the first week of September. So I put that in a couple recent emails, but I want to make sure that everyone is aware. And it's looking like it's actually going to be more towards the end of the week. So if that works, if you want to fit that into any of the planning that you're putting forth, it's looking more likely that it would be the 5th or around there. Don't quote me on that in case we have some technical issues when we launch it. So you'll see here kind of the important information to include, obviously, just like normal, time, location of your fair, the link to online registration. We want to make sure that this is visible, everyone's seeing it every single time that you post something to recruit participants to your fair. Again, stressing that need to make the appointment and then to arrive to their appointment on time. We don't really want them showing up half an hour early. We really need to make sure that we're staying in those building capacity limits. And those were specifically mentioned on the webinar on Tuesday for site leadership. And I believe Alex just sent out that recording. So if you did miss it, we do have specific things in there about building capacity and all of that. So just making sure that we're keeping that and having them arrive on time and scheduling an appointment is going to help with that. Obviously, letting them know about our new safety requirements. If you know that specifically the population that you are reaching out to in a specific post or a newsletter or whatever you're writing, making sure that there's a notice in there for people who are potentially at high risk for COVID-19 or high reaction to it as well. We want to make sure that they're staying safe and potentially self-quarantining if they need to. And of course, just tag 9 Health Fair in all of your posts. Our handle, the @9 Health Fair, there in the blue, it's the same across all social media platforms. And when you tag us and we see it, we're going to go ahead and share that, and it's going to just increase that reach that people are seeing it. So it will be helpful for you as well. And you'll notice at the very bottom of this post I put, you may also purchase a COVID-19 antibody test. You can add this or not, depending on if you think that your audience is going to want an antibody test. Sometimes there's a lot of strong opinions about antibody tests that we've recently figured out. So when we can make sure that everyone has all the information to answer those questions if you do get them. So just making sure it's not the focal point, but please include it if you feel like your audience is really going to want to come to your fair to get that antibody test or an extra reason to do so. And then I also have a sample post here for the volunteers. So it's pretty much the same things you want to include, right? The link to know where to sign up. If your fair is having shifts, then you definitely want to say something about that. If you are not using our volunteer management system, just making sure you have somewhere in here, maybe they're emailing somebody, whatever you're using to keep track of your volunteers, making sure it's in there. And really the focal point of it. You'll notice I have it big and bolded here. So even if they're just skimming it, they're going to see that link to find out more. And then also you can either do the regular 9Health volunteer /need, which is just a page to all of the volunteer positions, or you'll see in here, I say you can insert a link to your specific site page on VMS. So each of you that are using VMS will have your own 9Health Fair site page, and you can link them directly to that, and your volunteer positions are at the bottom of that page. So whichever way you want to do it will work.
Kristen, it looks like you have a question in the chat.
Oh, I do have a question. So correct, there is no COVID-19 test. There is the antibody test. So no one can come in there and say, you know, I think I have COVID, I need a test, because we wouldn't even let them in the building, right? They wouldn't get past those screening questions. So this is specifically for people who, you know, believe they maybe had it at least, you know, 2, 3, 4 weeks ago at least. And they can come in and get an antibody test, because it also does take a while for those antibodies to show up. So even if it was relatively soon after they thought they had it, it wouldn't be helpful to them. So just making sure that is around. But yeah, no regular COVID-19 tests will be available. And this is really about, you know, creating a video, and especially I know Instagram is a great way to share a video, making sure they're not too long. So if you're sharing it on Facebook, it could potentially be, you know, a minute, 2 minutes. But if you're sharing it on Instagram, it's probably going to want to be more like 30 seconds or less, just so you don't lose your audience. So just paying special attention to who you think is going to watch it. And really this could be helpful, and, you know, maybe not sharing a video right now, but, you know, as your fair date gets closer and you need a little bump in the participant registration, a video is a great way to get people excited about what you're doing. So, you know, 2 weeks before your fair, you're going to have all your supplies, you're going to have your banner, you're going to be putting up your coming soon sign. So maybe you have your team to get together with all your masks, and you're by a coming soon sign, or you're by the banner, and you're really getting people excited. So just thinking about that as a potential something that you can do, along with just taking photos of your team. These are great ways to share. And then again, tagging 9Health Fair, and we will share your video as well. We always like to pass on the love. Are there any questions about kind of like creating a video or any of the social media posts or anything like that before I move on? Perfect. I will take the silence.
Alrighty, so using your existing resources, this is something that we really want to see from site leaders as well. Again, a business newsletter, active blog, email list, strong community network. These are just great places to start as far as things that you may already be doing that can help you promote your fair. Oftentimes people will forget that, you know, they can use these avenues that they're already using to promote and get people involved. And very, very straightforward here. If you've got something, we think you should use it. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And just so everyone knows as well, I am in the midst of finalizing a toolkit to help you all with publicity, whether it's to your volunteers or to your future participants. And I will be sending that along via email here in the next, if not tomorrow, then on Monday. So just be on the lookout for that, and I will post it in the VMS as well. And it's really going to help you with a lot of these ideas and a starter point for maybe email copy or things put on social media. But just remembering that any of the things that we give you, it's really important to put your personal touch on it. Um, People really respond when it's, oh, this is my community doing this. I want to support my community and their preventive health journey. So making sure you do put that personal touch on it, it's going to go a lot farther with your audience as well. So we really want to help you throughout this whole publicity stretch. So we will be sending out some publicity nudges, and I promise I will not annoy you with them. They will be few and far between, but I want to make sure that everyone is kind of staying on track with how and what efforts we're putting through. So at the beginning, it's probably going to be announcing, hey, participants can now go to Find a Fair and sign up for your fair. So these are the kind of things that you should be putting out. And maybe, 2 weeks before your fair, we're going to say, hey, have you put your banner up, your coming soon signs, and all of those little things that we should be thinking about at each step of this publicity journey. So just know that we are definitely here, and then we can help keep you on track as well.
Yeah, and so for designating a publicity coordinator, we are, for many of us, getting in that 8 weeks before the fair date. So if you don't have somebody as a publicity coordinator, we understand that not every site is going to have one this year. However, me and Chase, as well as Kristen, and I'm sure others as well, are here to answer any questions that you guys have, any concerns you have, anything that you guys want to run over with us. We're more than happy, and we're here to help you guys with that. And we want to make sure that you guys know that we're here for that reason. And creating a team, again, the interns are here for you. Me and Chase, and we're gonna make this fun. We're gonna try to have a good time. Everyone is really trying to figure this out at their own pace, and everyone's going and having different ideas with how to move forward with this because of the COVID-19 stuff. But all we can do is make it fun and do the best we can. So we're excited to move forward and see what we can get done.
Indeed. Perfect. So yeah, I mentioned it before, but our next publicity webinar, the second one, will be Tuesday, September 15th at the same time. And then we'll kind of discuss things that are going to be a little bit more crucial to the weeks leading up to your fair. And then I have my email here. I have Vince's email here. And then I also have Kat's, which is, she's in the communications department. So definitely reaching out to any of us, probably myself or Vince would probably be the first reach out. And then if for whatever reason we're not helpful, feel free to move on to Kat, but I know she's doing a lot. So really myself and the publicity interns and Alex and Edith, we are all here to support you. We're all here to help you through this. And I definitely, I just want to give one more shout out to our publicity interns because they are excited and they are ready to help us. So definitely utilize their help as well. Are there any other questions? We kind of did really good time on this for the evening. I'm pretty proud of us. So any other questions that we can answer for you guys? Wonderful. I think that means we did our job. So we will go ahead and end this, and we will go ahead and send out the recording to you all and anyone who missed it. And please be in contact. Check all those resources on the resource library in the volunteer management system. Let me know if you want to have any customized flyers. I'm happy to help out. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your evening. Thank you so much for joining us.